In 1997, NVIDIA was 30 days from bankruptcy. We were a tiny company, and we had made a massive mistake. Our first product, the NV1, was based on a technology called quadrilateral texture mapping. Essentially, we were building 3D graphics using curved surfaces instead of the triangles that the rest of the industry and Microsoft's new DirectX had decided to embrace. Overnight, our technology became irrelevant. We were out of money, we were out of time, and we had a contract with Sega to build their next console chip that we knew would be a failure. I had to do something that most people would find humiliating. I went to the CEO of Sega, Irimajiri-san, and I told him the truth. I told him our architecture was the wrong path, that he should find another partner, but that if he didn't pay us for the work we had done, even though we wouldn't finish the chip, NVIDIA would go out of business. It was a moment of total vulnerability. To my surprise, he showed us incredible grace. He agreed to pay us, and that $5 million gave us the 6 months of life we needed to build the Riva 128. That chip had to be perfect. There was no margin for error. We were 30 days from the end, and we ran like our lives depended on it, because they did. That experience defined the soul of this company. It's why people often hear me say that I still wake up feeling like we are 30 days from bankruptcy. It's not a joke. It's a state of mind. It's a productive paranoia that keeps us focused on the first principles of every problem we solve. People look at our market cap today, they look at the 4 trillion headlines, and they think it was an inevitable climb. But it wasn't. It was a series of impossible choices and a relentless refusal to settle for the status quo. I didn't set out to build the most valuable company in the world. I set out to solve the problems that nobody else wanted to touch, to build things that didn't exist before, and to ensure that the work of our lives would have a permanent impact on the future of humanity. To understand how we reached this moment, you have to understand the fundamental shift in the physics of computing. For 60 years, the world lived under the comfort of Moore's law. We expected general-purpose computing, the CPU, to get twice as fast every few years just by making the transistors smaller. But we hit a wall. The laws of physics don't care about our business plans. As transistors got smaller, they leaked more power. They got hotter. We reached a point where you couldn't make a CPU run faster without it melting. The free lunch was over. We saw this coming 20 years ago. We realized that if we wanted to continue the progress of human knowledge, we had to reinvent the computer from the ground up. We had to move away from the serial world of the CPU and into the parallel world of the GPU. This is the core of accelerated computing. It's not just about a chip, it's about a full stack revolution. We had to rewrite the libraries, the algorithms, and the software. We had to build CUDA. When we launched CUDA in 2006, the world thought we were crazy. Our stock price languished for years. Analysts asked why we were pouring billions of dollars into a programmable GPU that nobody knew how to program. We were exhausted, we were criticized, but we stayed the course because we believed in the first principles. We knew that parallel processing was the only way to handle the massive amounts of data that the future would require. We were building a platform for a world that didn't even exist yet. We were building a bridge to the era of artificial intelligence before anyone knew what AI could truly become. This is the work of your life. It's about having the resilience to be misunderstood for a long time. It's about choosing to suffer through the difficult engineering because you know the outcome is worth it. At NVIDIA, we don't have a corner office for the CEO. I don't have a mahogany desk. I move around. I sit with the engineers. We have a flat structure because I want to hear the truth, not a filtered report from 5 layers of management. I have 50 direct reports. Why? Because in a revolution, speed is everything. Hierarchy is a bottleneck. We need every person in the company to have the context of the mission, to understand that they are part of a single, giant, parallel organism. Today, we are at the start of a new industrial revolution. In the 18th century, we built factories to turn steam into mechanical power. In the 20th century, we built power plants to turn coal into electricity. Today, we are building AI factories. The raw material is data and electricity, and the output is intelligence. This is the most valuable commodity ever created. Intelligence is the new electricity, and Blackwell is the engine of this new revolution. When we designed Blackwell, we didn't just ask how to make a faster GPU. We asked, how do we build the infrastructure for the next century? We had to solve problems of interconnect, of thermal management, of power delivery that were considered impossible. We combined 2 of the largest die that can be manufactured into a single integrated system. We built an NV-link switch that allows 72 GPUs to act as one single massive brain. This is the scale required for the era of generative AI. But building Blackwell was an exercise in extreme resilience. It pushed our supply chain, our engineers, and our partners to the absolute limit. There were moments of doubt. There were moments where the physics seemed to say no, but we don't accept no when the goal is this important. We run, we don't walk. We move with a sense of urgency because the world is hungry for this intelligence. The demand for Blackwell is not just a market trend. It is a signal that every industry on the planet, from healthcare to climate science to manufacturing, is ready to be reinvented. I often think back to my days at Denny's. I started as a dishwasher, then a busboy, then a waiter. I was the best dishwasher you've ever seen. I took pride in it. I learned that no job is beneath you. I learned that you have to do every job to the best of your ability because that is how you build character. That Denny's mentality is what allowed us to survive those 30 days from bankruptcy. It's what allows us to handle the pressure of being the most valuable company in the world today. We don't act like we've won. We act like we are still in that booth at Denny's, refilling coffee and trying to figure out how to solve the next impossible problem. The 4 trillion plan isn't a financial strategy. It is a commitment to the first principles of computation. It is the realization that the old world of software, where people write code for computers to follow, is being replaced by a world where data writes code for itself. This is a fundamental shift in how human civilization operates. We are moving from tools to partners. We are building systems that can reason, that can plan, and that can understand the physical world. This is why physical AI is the next great frontier. We are moving AI out of the cloud and into the world of robots, autonomous factories, and self-driving cars. This requires a level of simulation that didn't exist before. This is why we built Omniverse. We have to create a digital twin of reality so that AI can learn the laws of physics without the risks of the real world. We are building the gym for robots. This is the intersection of everything we have worked on for 30 years: graphics, accelerated computing, and AI. People ask me, Jensen, how did you do it? How did you create this value? The answer is that we didn't focus on the value. We focused on the mission. We focused on building the things that nobody else could build. We chose to suffer. We chose the pain of invention. And we stayed humble enough to realize that we are always one mistake away from extinction. That humility is our greatest strength. It keeps us hungry. It keeps us sharp. It keeps us running. The transition we are witnessing today is the iPhone moment for all of technology, but it is even bigger than that. It is the moment where the computer becomes an intelligence generator. This changes everything. It changes the nature of work. It changes the nature of the company. It changes how we solve the world's biggest challenges. We are no longer limited by the speed of human typing or the constraints of serial processing. We are limited only by our imagination and the scale of our AI factories. I want you to think about your own work from first principles. Are you just trying to be 10% better? Or are you trying to build something that didn't exist before? To do the latter, you have to be willing to fail. You have to be willing to be 30 days from bankruptcy. You have to be willing to ask for help when you're in over your head. Character is not built on the easy days. It is built in the fire. We are currently retooling the world's trillion-dollar installed base of data centers. This is a massive generational task. It is the reindustrialization of the world, and Blackwell is the heart of it. But the real magic isn't in the silicon. The magic is in the software, the ecosystem, and the millions of developers who are using our platform to build the future. We are just the foundation. You are the architects. We have reached a point where the speed of innovation is breathtaking. We are seeing breakthroughs in drug discovery that used to take decades happening in months. We are seeing the possibility of a carbon-neutral future through the optimization of every energy system on the planet. This is the power of accelerated computing. This is why we do what we do. This is why we chose to be the un-CEO company, the flat company, the company that lives in the trenches. I see the fatigue in the industry, and I understand it. This pace is unsustainable for the old way of doing things, but for us, it is the only way to live. We are energized by the insane demand for what we build. We are energized by the opportunity to solve the problems that were considered impossible just a year ago. We are exhausted, yes, but we are inspired. We are productive. We are running toward a future that is brighter than anything we could have imagined back in that Denny's booth in 1993. The 4 trillion number is just a marker on the road. It's not the destination. The destination is a world where everyone has access to the intelligence they need to achieve their dreams. A world where the dishwasher of tomorrow has a digital assistant that helps them become an engineer, an artist, or a leader. That is the true value of NVIDIA. That is the true plan. The true plan is to democratize that capability so that the scale of your ambition is the only thing that limits you. When we look at the economics of this transition, we are talking about a shift that happens once every century. We are moving from a world of information retrieval, where we use computers to find things that already exist, to a world of intelligence generation, where we use computers to create things that have never been seen. This is why the value of the company has scaled the way it has. It's not because of speculation, it's because the world has realized that the marginal cost of intelligence is heading toward zero, and when the cost of intelligence drops, the value of everything else in society rises. This is the first principle of the new economy. In the old world, the more you wanted to do, the more people you had to hire, and the more physical space you had to occupy. There was a linear relationship between input and output, but in the age of the AI factory, that relationship is broken. We are now in a world of exponential returns. A single researcher powered by a Blackwell cluster can do the work of 1,000 scientists from the previous generation. This is the 4 trillion plan in action. It is the retooling of the entire global economy to support a level of productivity that was previously impossible. But building the engines for this productivity is an immense burden. Blackwell is the most complex object ever manufactured at scale. Think about the physics involved. We have 208 billion transistors on a single system. These transistors are switching at billions of times per second. The heat generated by that much concentrated computation is enough to melt most materials. We had to move to liquid cooling, not as a luxury, but as a physical necessity. We had to design plumbing systems for data centers that look more like a high-performance engine than a traditional server room. We had to solve the memory wall by creating HBM3E stacks that can feed data to the processors at terabytes per second. These are the impossible problems we choose to tackle. Why do we do it? Because we know that if we don't, the AI revolution stalls. If we don't provide the efficiency of accelerated computing, the energy requirements of AI would become unsustainable for the planet. Our mission is to make intelligence abundant and green. By accelerating the work, we reduce the time, and by reducing the time, we reduce the energy. This is the fundamental truth. The more you buy from us, the more you save, not just in money, but in the very resources of our world. This vision requires a level of integration that most companies find terrifying. At NVIDIA, we don't just design the chip, we design the system, the software, the networking, and the algorithms. We are vertically integrated because at the limit of physics, you cannot optimize things in isolation. You have to understand how a single electron moves from the power supply into the transistor and how a single bit of data moves across an entire data center. This full stack approach is what allowed us to stay ahead. It is the result of 30 years of building things that didn't exist before. Our flat structure is the secret to managing this complexity. I don't sit in meetings listening to PowerPoint presentations. I want to see the code. I want to see the CAD drawings. I want to understand the first principles of why a certain interconnect is failing. In a flat organization, the distance between the CEO and the problem is zero. This allows us to pivot with the urgency of that 30-day bankruptcy window, even though we are now a multi-trillion-dollar entity. We don't have business units that compete with each other. We have one mission: to accelerate the world's work. This leads us to the next phase of the revolution: sovereign AI. For decades, the digital world was dominated by a few hubs, but in the era of generative AI, every nation has realized that their data is their most precious natural resource. Your data is your culture, your history, and your future. You cannot export your data and import intelligence. You must manufacture your own intelligence. This is why we are working with countries all over the world to build national AI factories. We are helping them build their own digital brains so they can solve their own problems in their own languages according to their own values. This is the ultimate democratization of technology. And as these nations build their infrastructure, we are seeing the rise of agentic AI, the digital employees I've spoken about. We are moving past the chatbot era. Chatbots are about talking, Agents are about doing. We are building the reasoning engines that will allow AI to act as an autonomous partner in every field. These agents will be powered by Blackwell, and they will live in the omniverse. They will be the bridge between the digital world of bits and the physical world of atoms. Physical AI is the greatest challenge of all. It is one thing to have an AI write a poem. It is quite another to have an AI operate a surgical robot or navigate a self-driving truck through a snowstorm. This requires the AI to have a sense of common sense about the physical world. It must understand gravity, momentum, and the properties of materials. This is why our work in graphics and simulation is so vital. You cannot have AI without graphics. You need the simulation to train the brain. Omniverse is the training ground for the physical agents that will transform our factories and our homes. I often reflect on the resilience of our team. We have endured so many failures. We have built so many products that nobody wanted, but we never lost our sense of purpose. We never stopped believing that the world would eventually need parallel processing. That resilience is what I wish for you. I wish for you to find a problem so difficult that it consumes you. I wish for you to find a mission so important that you are willing to look like a fool for a decade while you work on it. Because that is how you change the world. You don't change the world by doing what is popular. You change the world by doing what is necessary, especially when it is hard. The 4 trillion plan is ultimately about human potential. We are building the tools that will allow the next generation to solve the problems that we couldn't. We are building the engines that will take us to Mars, that will cure the diseases of our time, and that will create a future of abundance for everyone. We are exhausted, yes. We are pushing the limits of our physical and mental endurance, but we are also more alive than we have ever been. We are standing at the threshold of a new age, and we can see the light of the future just over the horizon. This is not a far-off dream. We are building it today. We are shipping Blackwell today. We are training the next generation of models today. The revolution is happening in real time. And my message to you remains the same. Run, don't walk. If you are waiting for the perfect moment to start, you've already missed it. The perfect moment was 20 years ago. The next best moment is right now. The speed of AI is so fast that if you stop to catch your breath, you will find yourself in a different world when you start running again. We are building a legacy of innovation that is rooted in the humble beginnings of a Denny's booth. We have never forgotten where we came from, and we have never stopped looking at where we are going. We are a company of dishwashers who decided to build a supercomputer. We are a company of dreamers who decided to master the laws of physics, and we are just getting started. The logic of our path is irrefutable. General purpose computing has reached its physical limit. Accelerated computing is the only way to meet the exponential demand for intelligence. Intelligence is the raw material of the new industrial revolution. And NVIDIA is the platform for that revolution. This is the truth of our journey. This is the promise of our future. I am so incredibly proud of what we have built together, but I am even more excited about what you will build with the tools we are giving you. You are the architects of the future. You are the ones who will take this intelligence and turn it into progress. We are just providing the sparks. You are the fire. Run, don't walk, toward the impossible, toward the unknown, toward the future. Before I leave you today, I want to invite you to be a part of this mission. If you are as excited as I am about the era of Blackwell and the revolution of physical AI, please subscribe to this channel and give this video a like. It helps us build this community of pioneers. And most importantly, if you have questions about our plan, about Blackwell, or about how to navigate this transition to accelerated computing, please leave them in the comments below. I will be checking them, and I will respond to as many as I can, as quickly as I can. I want to hear from you. I want to know what you are building. The conclusion is simple. We are at the end of the beginning. The infrastructure of the next century is being laid right now. Those who embrace the first principles of accelerated computing and the urgency of the moment will be the ones who define the future. Run, don't walk. Thank you.